How's it going, everybody? This is a CLNS Media Patriots Beat Breaking News Roundtable. I'm Alex Barth, joined by Mike Molyneux and Marv Azon. And as it stands right now, at about the bottom of the 8 o'clock hour East Coast, the New England Patriots have traded Jimmy Garoppolo about 24 hours before the deadline to the San Francisco 49ers for San Francisco's second-round pick in next year's draft. And we're going to react to this now kind of off the cuff, guys. I'll let you know it just came across. San Francisco did have 2 second-round picks. It is the San Francisco second coming back. That team is still winless. They are 0-8. So a little bit of optimism for the Patriots right there, but I'll just say I don't like this. They could have traded him in the offseason. They could have gotten more for him then. My guess is that he said, wherever I go, I'm not going to sign an extension. That's probably part of the reason the price is so low. He wants to hit the open market. I think they missed the ball on trading him this summer. I know you guys feel similar. Let's start with Marv. Marv, your opening thought.
Yeah, this honestly is shocking. This makes no sense to me whatsoever. You nailed it, Alex. They had a chance to trade Garoppolo in the offseason where you could have gotten a guaranteed first-round pick, especially after he displayed himself in those 2.5 games. To trade him during this trade deadline, and you get a future pick that's not even going to help you this season when you know you need help right now defensively and offensively with the receivers going down. This is a major head scratcher. I don't know what the Patriots are thinking right now. With this
Hang on, Marv. I'm going to cut you off here for a second. So the Browns have just released Brian Hoyer as we're going live right now. The Browns have just released Brian Hoyer. I know part of the concern for Patriots fans right now is not having a backup. That's obviously somebody that is familiar with New England, that is familiar with Belichick and McDaniels and Brady. So, Mike, now knowing that, do you think he's – and you can give your opening thought as well in the trade, but is that going to be the backup here?
I mean, first thoughts on the trade. Obviously, it's a shocker. It's a shocker for real. I don't think anybody expected it. I think the majority of people probably felt that, as crazy as it looks, Patriots are going to hold on to Jimmy Garoppolo and do whatever they can to keep him on this team moving forward because they believed – he was, the heir apparent to the throne and is going to take over for Tom Brady once his time came. But, over and over again, Tom Brady has given zero indication that he plans on retiring and leaving football. So as crazy as this trade seems and a lot of people are upset, it makes sense. The Patriots were not going to keep Jimmy Garoppolo on this team, in my opinion, and pay him top dollar for a guy who's just going to sit on the bench behind Brady for another year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever the case may be. And now looking at Brian Hoyer, I see that the Browns just released him because, in all honesty, yeah, it makes sense. This is a guy who's been behind Brady. He's been with Belichick, so he knows the system. And obviously, any team in any sport is going to look at a guy who's been in the system before and knows the playbook and whatnot and probably look to bring that person right in.
But then why not trade Garoppolo? If they knew they were going to do this, why not trade Garoppolo over the summer when the return could have been higher? We had the reports from, I believe it was Adam Schefter. There were multiple reports. I'm pretty sure Schefter was one of them, that there were multiple first-round picks on the table. They could have set themselves up better down the road. Why? I guess the question isn't why. It makes sense why they would trade him, but why now?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Why now? It's because right now, if you're thinking about the Patriots, you thought they would make a move.
I'm going to interrupt you real quick here, Marv. Schefter has corroborated the Hoyer being cut. So that's just so everybody knows. That's
official. All right.
Go ahead. Yep.
So I'm with you with not understanding why now. You can get more for Garoppolo in the offseason. You only get a second-round pick for – this is a steal for San Fran. It makes plenty of sense for them. They haven't had a quarterback since – Kaepernick was good. So this makes total sense. And the Patriots need player now. And you're getting a 2018 second round pick that's not guaranteed to be a stud. So I just don't understand. I understand what Mike's saying, how it makes sense because Brady looks like he's going to be playing for a couple more years, but it doesn't. The timing of all this does not make sense at all.
I just think that's just the Patriots in such a Belichick way of doing things, just throwing people in a loop. Like nobody saw this trade happening. No one saw this move happening.
I was floored. I was telling you guys off there. Nothing better to do with my life than play Madden on a Monday night. I traded Garoppolo in Madden. My friend texted me, "You traded Garoppolo for a second? I thought he was over my shoulder."
I was caught up in the Celtics game, and it's actually Marv that broke the news to me. I just happened to look down at my phone, and I see Marv texting me, letting me know that the trade has happened, and that's when I dove right into Twitter to read everything. And yeah, like I said, complete shocker, but at the same time, like I said, it makes sense. Where do the Patriots go from here in terms of backup? Hoyer's that guy. There are a lot of other names out there. Kaepernick's still available. I know there's a lot going on with him, but
Boy,
obviously
wouldn't that be a story?
Obviously, Hoyer now makes the most sense because, I mean, his history with the team. But it, especially a season where, Brady has the shoulder injury that, was talked about for a while. And then on top of that, offensive line has been shaky all throughout the season so far. And then the Patriots go out and trade a guy who is arguably the best backup quarterback in the NFL right now. Crazy.
So, and Marv, we'll weigh in on you. I just want to throw some stuff out here. The interesting thing, and this is kind of what's going on Twitter right now about Hoyer being the backup, is if this is the guy the Patriots want, why was he not a part of the trade? Why was he not sent back with the second-round pick? Is that maybe say that's not the way you want to go? And this just coming in from @PatsCap on Twitter. They do a great job monitoring the Patriots salary cap situation. They're always on top of these things. The Jimmy Garoppolo trade, if the contracts stay the way they are right now, which still less than 24 hours till the deadline, but if they stay the way they are right now, the Patriots will have the money this upcoming offseason to franchise Malcolm Butler, something they previously would not have had. So, Marv, we'll go back to you now. Just keep piling more on top of this. The layers are getting deeper and deeper. Where's your head at here?
No, I was honestly just about to say the same thing. Now the offseason gets a little more clear. You're not going to franchise tag Garoppolo, which it was going to be so awkward having Garoppolo earning 20-something mil behind Brady, making more money than Brady just to sit there. Now you have a Malcolm Butler who's been playing well as of late, and you don't know how that contract situation is going to go. As you can see, we can't afford to lose Butler right now, as he is our best corner. You bring in Gilmore, who hasn't shown anything to the Patriots. So maybe you do now franchise Malcolm Butler, and you spread that money out for better players on the defense, linebackers. and another thing is, this could not be the only move. We already know that Brian Hoyer is cut, so you might sign Brian Hoyer. But Patriots, we're never looking. Yesterday, we weren't thinking about quarterback being a Patriots issue. So,
and look, when we were together, when we were together yesterday, I had thrown out the very much hypothetical Jimmy Garoppolo for Clay Matthews, which honestly, I still think I would. I still think I'd take that over a second-round pick. But okay, let's go down that road now, because there is some speculation that the Patriots will flip this pick to get a player that they need, or they will flip another pick comfortable that they have this one, that there is another move coming in reaction to this. I'm trying to rack my head. Good pass rushers on bad teams, guys we may see coming this way. A couple guys who came to mind for me, Carlos Dunlap was the first one who popped into my head. I had another, he's popped out right now. I'll try to find that, but I mean, we're really just shooting fish, not fishing barrel. I mean, it's easy. We're really just kind of throwing whatever against the wall and seeing what sticks, but they have an extra second-round pick now. They can move that. It's going to be a very high second. Maybe they're comfortable moving their own first. Where do you guys now see the Patriots going? Do you think there's going to be a corresponding move? And are there any players that, maybe, remember what Belichick said today, guys who are on teams that are struggling, that have been listed as inactive, that's who they like to go for. So as we start to put two and two together, do you guys have any names? We'll start with Mike.
Names, I can't think of names off the top of my head, but honestly, yes, it would be a great idea to flip this pick and maybe package another pick and go after somebody who will definitely help up front. I think the one area we talked about all throughout yesterday when we were doing the pregame show, the postgame show, was, the loss to Dante Hightower and the fact that the Patriots have a lot of young, unproven guys who need to step up and hopefully become, leaders for this team. If you could take that high second-round pick and maybe flip one of your own picks as well, package them up, and go after somebody who will have an immediate impact for the guys up front, the linebackers, the pass rush especially, that'd be huge. That'd be huge. Like I said, I don't have names off the top of my head. Maybe one of you two have names that you could think of. I know you said Clay Matthews or something like that. But yes, that I'd really like for the Patriots to maybe go in that direction, because at the end of the day, pass rushing shoes. They've got lucky these last couple of weeks not giving up big games and big yards to opposing quarterbacks. But we saw what the first several games look like where Patriots, were getting to any quarterback. So that'd be huge if they can make a move like that.
I mean, would you be surprised if they do? It's because what I'm trying to say is this 2018 pick doesn't help the Patriots right now. The Patriots have made all moves for 2017, 2018 season, and it doesn't make sense for them to make a future move right now when they are struggling with depth. I don't have a specific name, but there were guys like Navarro Bowman that was available at a point in time that the Patriots didn't tackle or jump on, which I think they should have. We mentioned earlier how free agents like Dwight Freeney, anything with depth that can help this defense out, because the Patriots do struggle rushing this quarterback. So I will not be surprised if we see the Patriots trade this second round pick. And honestly, we never know what the Patriots are going to do. It could be somebody from left field that's going to come on this team tomorrow. Who knows?
So we've got some names. Adam Kaufman of WBZAM in Boston tweeting out the names of quarterbacks the Patriots have worked out this season. That's going to be Thad Lewis, Matt Barkley, Matt McGloin. None of those names particularly excite me. I'm going to throw out, I know I'm going way hot take tornado here, but I'm going to throw out a name. Pass rusher on a struggling team, would work in the Patriots system. Chandler Jones possibly coming back. Is that, we'll start with Marv. We started with Mike last time. Too hot of a take?
Too hot.
Too hot?
Way too hot. Way too hot.
Well, hey, if I had told you yesterday they were going to trade Garoppolo for a second, you would have said too hot too. So
you're right. With the Patriots, anything is possible. But Chandler Jones making a bucket load of money. Patriots do not want to carry that on. I think Belichick doesn't like admitting to mistakes. Him getting rid of Chandler and trying to bring him back is admitting to a mistake that they traded him away anyways. I don't see Chandler Jones coming back. I would love to see him come back. I just don't see it happening.
So, Mike, I just want, before we go to you, because Hoyer was not a part of the trade, the Patriots can sign him for the minimum. The Niners will still be responsible for his salary. So it actually helps the Patriots salary-wise. So Hoyer back in is only $3 million. Okay, so as you were.
Hot take, though. And I saw this on Twitter. I forgot who tweeted it out. Let me see if I still had it up. I forgot the name of the person, but I read this and I said, this is really interesting. Brady's 40 years old. He has a shoulder injury and he's playing behind a shaky offensive line. Say he goes through the season and he literally is like, I have nothing left to prove in this game. I have another Super Bowl ring, 6 Super Bowl rings. I'm 40 years old. I've done enough. Garoppolo plays out the season with the 49ers. Patriots and Garoppolo agree on the deal, and he's right back to where it all began for him. What if that were to go down? Imagine that.
That's a little hotter than the Niners take, I think. But we got another report in here. This was Schefter, was just on Sports Center. Patriots felt Jimmy Garoppolo would be too difficult to re-sign after contract talks having been going on since the spring. So they wanted to re-sign him. They had been trying to re-sign him since the spring, since before camp. I wonder maybe they hit a breaking point like this week or something.
I'm telling you, like I said in the beginning, it was going to be tough to try to keep that guy on this team as the backup quarterback. And especially you have Brady where he's not showing signs of slowing down. He doesn't want to go anywhere. Garoppolo is just going to be literally sitting on the bench and making a lot of money, but not playing. And, you know how the Patriots already are with their money and wanting to give out to players and handling guys. We've seen it. One guy who I always talk about all the time is how the Randy Moss situation went down. That still hurts me till today. But I knew it was going to get tough, somewhere down the line with this Patriots and Garoppolo situation. And I think even Marv said yesterday, things might have started to get probably awkward between Brady and Garoppolo on the roster. I think Marv, you was talking about that before.
Yeah, he did say that yesterday. Good insight.
So I have one question. Oh, sorry to cut you off. Go ahead. Finish up.
No, go ahead. No, you're good.
And I lost it. God damn it.
All right, so Mike, finish up while Marv collects. There's a lot going on right now. There's a lot swirling around. So finish up while Marv remembers what he was talking about.
I mean, I'm just saying, back to that hot take. Just imagine a situation where Brady moves on, he retires if he gets a 6th Super Bowl ring, and Garoppolo can just sign back for whatever type of money and be the star, the number one guy for the Patriots. It's possible. Brady says one thing, but you've seen a lot of times in sports where a guy gets another championship and just says, you know what, let me just ride off into the sunset with this another championship under my belt. He says he can play to 45. We all believe it, but maybe another championship for Brady. And he's like, what more do I have to left to prove? Let me just go out with my health, my beautiful wife, my children, and live a great life, and I'll go down as the greatest quarterback who ever played.
All right, I got before we go to you, Marv. Okay. So sorry, one more thing coming in. So Andrew Hawkins, who was with the Patriots in training camp and then retired, just tweeted, "So Hoyer to New England, no?" And Johnson Batamosi, current New England Patriot, Johnson Batamosi with the thinking emoji and said, "Smart man." So maybe Batamosi knows something. Maybe he knows something what's going on in the building. He hasn't been here that long. Maybe he doesn't know that. No, you don't start talking about what's going on with the team during the season. Mark, go ahead.
Someone's texting Batamosi right now, like, delete that. But one thing I was gonna say is, Mike, I think how you're saying the conversation that Brady could just retire anytime now. Do you guys think that the Patriots had a conversation with Brady and was like, hey, so do you really plan to play till 45? Because we're going to send Garoppolo away if that is true. Because I don't think they send Garoppolo to the 49ers if they do believe that Tom Brady is going to retire anytime soon. This seems like an all-investment move to keep Brady for another 3 more years.
I think not only does Brady believe that he can play till 45 and be as successful as he has been, but I think the Patriots fully believe and are fully invested in what Brady is able and capable to do all the way up to 45 years old. I think they fully believe Kraft, Belichick. We see what he does on Sundays and Mondays and Thursdays and whatnot. But Kraft, Belichick, the coaching staff, they are behind the scenes and they're seeing the amount of work. We hear about it, we read about it, the TB12 way, the method, everything like that. But those guys, they see the work that Brady's putting in. And they're probably like, yes, he has the shaky offensive line. Yes, he had the shoulder injury, but this guy really looks like he has zero decline about to take place. So I think for them to definitely make this move, yes, they could have paid Garoppolo whatever and said, sit on the bench and just be ready for when we need you. But they're probably like, you know what? Let's move on for Garoppolo. We'll again go to the draft. We'll probably, draft the quarterback sometime, maybe, next coming draft, maybe the year after. And they'll go from there with bringing on somebody else to be the next heir apparent to Brady, whenever that may be.
Well, remember, this is the draft everybody's been talking about, even though it hasn't looked like it on the field. It's supposed to be the best quarterback draft in 5-6 years. And
maybe the guy they're looking for.
Right, the top half, the Sam Darnolds, the Jake Brownings, the Josh Rosens haven't looked as strong, but you have a guy like Mason Rudolph who's been very impressive, and maybe that's a guy you can get at the beginning of the second round. Maybe that's a guy they like. Doesn't fit their current offense at all, but he's somebody who's looked really good and looks like he may have some NFL skills. Now, I want to ask you guys this, because this is kind of what's coming through my head. We knew Kyle Shanahan liked Jimmy Garoppolo from reports this past offseason, but very convenient for the Patriots. They trade him out, not only out west, but they trade him to the NFC, so they would only have to see him if he does re-sign once every 4 years. First of all, do you think, because of the low price, do you think part of it was Jimmy Garoppolo would not re-sign wherever he went? Do you think he'll hit the free agent market? And the second part, do you think Garoppolo had a say in where he was traded?
Oof.
I don't think he had a say, no. And I definitely think he wants to hit the open market. Or he maybe sees the San Francisco 49ers as a chance to maybe make a team his own and really become the next face of that franchise. Or if he doesn't see that there, yes, he is the open market and just, entertains all the offers. That guy is going to get the amount of meetings and offers thrown at him as possible. Like I said, over the years, over and over again, any backup to Tom Brady that has played in the Belichick system, the Patriots system, teams are going to look at that guy, and hold that person in very high regard. The Hoyers, the Mallets, Brissett's, name the guys that have come through year after year. Teams are going to take an extra look at just the backup for the Patriots just because they played behind Brady and Belichick.
But how well have those, and Brissett, it's still early, but you mentioned the Hoyers, the Mallets, the Castles. How many of these guys has it worked out for?
But they got a
maybe
contract.
Garoppolo's another one.
They all got contracts though. They all did enough to get themselves a nice contract.
So it'll be it. Look, Garoppolo had a big contract coming. If he hit the market, now he actually has to prove something for 8 weeks.
And I think he will. I mean, he's with the 49ers. He doesn't have much expectation. Garoppolo's in a great situation right now. He's 26. He's entering his prime. He's got 6-7 games to prove himself that he's worthy on a bad team. And then he can either stick with the 49ers, who gave up a second-round pick, so they're going to try to invest in him, or he can hit the market. And quarterbacks are needed regardless. There's not many great quarterbacks out there. Garoppolo's the next big thing in a lot of people's eyes. So he's in a perfect situation. As long as he plays all right, he plays pretty well for the 49ers, 6-7 games, I think he'll do well for himself.
We've got a comment on YouTube, just a 49ers fan weighing in that, saying Garoppolo is going to get hit on that Niners offensive line, and he may be worse off beyond the Niners offensive line than in New England.
He won't even be playing in New England.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point. Mike, go ahead.
I mean, I just wish the guy the best of luck. Obviously, I mean, I think a lot of people can agree that Garoppolo was probably the best looking backup quarterback that the Patriots had. You know, they got Mallet, they had Hoyer, they had Brissett, but I think after all these years of the Patriots, you know, trying to have guys behind Brady, Garoppolo probably looks like he has the most potential out of anybody they've ever had. So honestly, wish him the best, whether it's staying in San Francisco for the rest of the year, you know, signing a contract, going somewhere else. I think he has a great career ahead of him. Obviously, if Brady were to move on, Garoppolo would have been great for the Patriots and, you know, for the future. But Patriots have moved on from Garoppolo, and I just have to say, in Bill we trust, because I firmly believe they will go out in the draft and find the next person who they believe can step up and be ready to take on, you know, the quarterback position once Brady moves on.
All right, so as we get ready to wind it down here, just a couple more points. I know we have some 49ers fans watching, and this is an interesting point here. Remember, the 49ers passed on Kirk Cousins earlier in the year in this offseason. So we can now, it's safe to say, they passed on Kirk Cousins for Jimmy Garoppolo. Who would you rather build your team around going forward, looking at the future, the next 5, even 10 years? Who would you rather have to build your team around, Cousins or Garoppolo? We'll start with Marv.
Wow. You would have to say Garoppolo. I think Garoppolo's ceiling is much higher than Kirk Cousins. As of now, we know what you're going to get from Kirk Cousins. He's a solid quarterback in the NFL who's going to make money, middle of the pack. Garoppolo, you see Garoppolo and you see potential of him being a top 5, top 10 quarterback in this league. You know, Kirk Cousins, he's a middle tier player. I'd go with Garoppolo, 26 years old, entering his prime. And he showed us flashes of what he can do. Of course, it was in the Patriots system. Now here's the real test of what we're going to see with the 49ers.
Mike.
I definitely think it's Garoppolo, just for the same reasons that I just said before. This is a guy who has played behind, you know, arguably the greatest quarterback of all time. He's played under arguably the greatest coach of all time. If I'm a 49er fan, and this is for all the 49er fans watching right now, you hope and pray that the organization starts to build a team around Garoppolo and can convince him to sign long-term with that team. With all their power and all their might, get him the best weapons, get him the best offensive line. Whether you want to stick with Carlos Hyde, it doesn't matter. If I'm a 49er fan, I'm praying and hoping that they start to build this team around Garoppolo, because you're just sitting there thinking, wow, this guy played behind Brady, and we've seen, you know, what he's capable of doing in preseason games and those 2 games that he was healthy when Brady was suspended. Let's hope that this guy can be the future of our franchise and bring us back into relevancy.
And somebody just put this in the chat. This is an interesting point. You mentioned getting Garoppolo the weapons. There is nothing on that offense. I mean, they have Carlos Hyde, but not much else. He's going to have to come in, learn a new playbook, possibly not playing him this year, just letting him learn the system, maybe starting him at the very end of the season. But there is a chance that they really want to build around him, protect their franchise quarterback. That may mean we don't see him until 2018, possibly. All right, one more point here before we go. One more point. This is 2 more points, because an interesting comment on YouTube. They still have that high pick. Jimmy Garoppolo, Saquon Barkley, starting backfield next year for the 49ers.
That would be scary.
That's
If you that would be a really good looking team. I mean, Carlos Hyde is a serviceable back, but if you can, anytime you can get a running back like Barkley, you got to jump on that opportunity.
And look at what's going on in Tennessee with Henry and Ingram. That's no, not Henry and Ingram. Henry and Murray. Sorry.
Murray, yeah.
Yeah. It's all about the two-back set now.
True. I mean, like I said, if you can build a team around Garoppolo, make him the future of your franchise. I firmly believe that he can be a great quarterback in this league. Just from the little that he showed in the Patriots uniform, I think the future's bright if you hand Jimmy Garoppolo the keys to the ship and let him, take over.
And they got Kyle Shanahan over there, offensive-minded head coach. So I think that pairing could be really nice for those two.
All right, so before we go, we talked about it a little bit at the top of the show, but I want to end on this note. They're going to need to add another quarterback. So that's coming, whether it be Hoyer or whoever. Outside of adding a quarterback, do you think there is a corresponding or another major move made by the Patriots before tomorrow's 4 o'clock trade deadline?
Yes, I do. I've always believed that before this quarterback trade that the Patriots were going to make a move or two either on the defense or offense going into the bye week.
I agree. I think something else is on the way. I don't think this is it. I don't think this Patriots team is a finished product, knowing with everything that they're dealing with offensively and defensively. I think another move is definitely on the way for sure. I feel like it's going to come on the defensive side of the ball, but we're all in wait-and-see mode now, so we'll all be watching for sure.
Glued to those phones. Interesting name just popped up on Twitter, Danny Shelton. Defensive lineman. He can play all over the line for the Cleveland Browns, and that could end up, if they trade the pick they got for Garoppolo, the Browns could end up with the first 2 picks potentially in the second round of next year's NFL draft. So what are some of the names we threw out here? We threw out Danny Shelton. I threw out Chandler Jones. We had, I'm trying to remember the names you guys had earlier.
You still think Clay Matthews is an idea?
I mean, now Garoppolo's gone, so I don't know about that one, but
you got to sleep on that Clay Matthews idea, man.
I'm done. I'll throw that out. I'm done with that. I'm on to Chandler Jones, I guess. Because if I'm right, I look brilliant. If I'm wrong, I'm just another nut job. All right, so that will do it for us. Obviously, if there's another move made by the Patriots, CLNS will have your coverage of that. You follow us on Twitter at CLNS Media. Check back on the YouTube page as well. Mike and Marv, little Twitter plug for you guys. You have reaction?
Yeah, you can follow me at CLNS_Marv. We're going to be talking about this whole trade for the next couple of days, man. All our reactions.
Absolutely. You can follow me at CLNS_Mike Nice. This will be the talk of the town for a while now. It'll be, around the water cooler at work and everything else. But it's going to be interesting to see the fallout that continues to happen from here.
So clnsmedia.com, at CLNS Media on Twitter, the YouTube page, at Patriots Beat, at Trags. Mike Petraglia has been tweeting out reactions as we're going as well. We'll keep you posted. The fallout from the Garoppolo trade and any corresponding moves. Again, the headline at around 8:30, the Patriots trading Jimmy Garoppolo to the San Francisco 49ers for a second-round pick going into the bye week. For Mike and Marv, my name's Alex Barth. Thanks for tuning in. We will talk to you again for sure. With the next roundtable pending a trade would be Friday. So we'll talk to you then. Until then, for Mike and Marv, I'm Alex Barth. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. Have a good night.